Good morning, CC families. This is cycle 3, week 17. My name is Mrs. Shannon, and we're going to start with English this morning. I have these books I made for my kids. I have 4 and 5-year-olds, so I like them to have some writing practice. So I don't know if you can see it's yellow, but I pre-wrote the definition of a subject because that's what we're doing today. And I left a horizontal line for them to practice writing the word subject. So I'll write that on the whiteboard that I have in my room and have them all practice writing that. And I'll help some of them have a harder time with it. Some of them can do it a little bit better. So I'll help the ones that need it, but I like them to have writing practice. So as they work on that, I will help them, and then we will sing a song to the tune of Take Me Out to the Ball Game that I got this idea from Happy Learning, and it goes like this. Sentence part, subject. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. I'll do it one more time. Sentence part, subject. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. So, and then I like to give my kids a sticker to put on the front of their books. I have these all decorated with their names. This one obviously isn't, but I give them a sticker each week once we've finished, and by the end they'll have 24 or more stickers. So that is English. For timeline this week, we're gonna try something new. I have these little bowling pins that are just toys my kids have. And I put these mini timeline cards on each one. I only have 5 bowling pins, so I put 2 timeline cards on a couple of them. I'll link where I found the mini timeline cards. They're from CC-Connected. I've used them a lot, love them. So I'm gonna set up the bowling pins for the kids, and I'm gonna give the kids this ball to rotate, so each gets a turn. They're gonna roll, try to knock down as many bowling pins as they can. So if they knock down one, then they get to take the mini timeline card off of it. They're just gonna take one card. So if they knock down like 5 pins, then they'll choose one card to take off, and then I'll set them up again for the other kids to try. So we'll do it as many times as it takes for all the kids to get a chance to knock some over. Grab one mini timeline card from one of them that they knocked over and kind of put it where they're sitting. Then when all the kids have 1 or 2 little timeline cards, they can go back to their seats and look at which card they have. And then I'm going to spread the big timeline cards that I have from the CC bookstore out on the table. I put these letters from the dollar store on each card just because I have 4 and 5-year-olds, and it helps them identify what they are. So for example, if one of the kids, say his name's Johnny, Johnny has romantic period of the arts. Ooh, cool. What does romantic period of the arts start with? Romantic. Ooh, it starts with an R. So let's find the big timeline card that I have all of them spread out on the table. Let's find the one that starts with an R, and he gets to put it up on the wall. I'm gonna have 7 pieces of painter's tape stuck on the wall. He gets to put that one up in the right order. That one is the last one, so he puts it in the last spot. I like them to practice like, what's the 3rd spot? What's the 4th spot? So then somebody else will go. It'll be, say Ginny's turn. Ginny, what card do you have? Ooh, Napoleon, Crowned Emperor of France. Okay, that starts with what letter? Ooh, N. Okay, let's find an N. Napoleon, there it is. Crowned Emperor of France. She gets to go stick that one up, and that's the first one. So we're gonna put it up in the 1st spot. So once all the kids get a chance to match their mini timeline card with the big one and put the big one on the wall in the right spot, then I'll have them all go stand under one of the timeline cards that's stuck on the wall, and we'll go over the motions and song together. Oh, and while they're bowling, I'm gonna have the timeline song playing, so they're listening to it too. So the motions this week, first, it's Napoleon, Crowned Emperor, so we're gonna do an N for Napoleon, Crowned Emperor of France, so France, we're gonna go like that. And then Liberation of South America, so we're gonna be bound and then free, So liberation of South America, and then we can do an S with our palm and an A. And then the war, it's a sign for war, of 1812, go like that. And then the Missouri Compromise. And then immigrants, so we're gonna go under, immigrants flock to America. And then the Monroe Doctrine, so it's like expanding. And then romantic period of the arts, so we're gonna make it sad, happy, sad face, happy. Okay, I'll try to do it to the tune a little bit. So Napoleon, crowned Emperor of France. Liberation of South America. The War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise. Immigrants flock to America. The Monroe Doctrine, romantic period of the arts. Sad, happy. So that is timeline this week. For geography this week, we are doing rivers. And so I'm going to prep these maps for my kids with all the rivers on them. So we're doing St. Lawrence rivers up here, Ohio River is in pink, Mississippi River, Missouri River, and Arkansas River. So I'm already gonna have them outlined for my kids just because I have younger ones, 4 and 5-year-olds. If you have older ones, you could totally just have them outline their own. And I'm gonna give them each a little, I found these little fish figurines. They have lots of different ones. I just got these on Amazon, but I'm planning to use them for a little bit. So, and they have little crabs and other sea creatures in them. So as we talk about bays and lakes and different things, I'm gonna have them use them. So for rivers, we are going to sing a song to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And it goes like this. I'll use my little fish. So as I kind of sing it to the kids, I'm gonna encourage them to kind of use their fish to point to each one. We'll go over them without singing first. So I'll be like, St. Lawrence River is in blue. Point with your fishy to the blue one. And then Ohio River is pink. Have your fishy swim to the pink one, etc. You can make it fun. So our song goes to Row, Row, Row Your Boat like this. Rivers, 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 East St. Lawrence River, Ohio River, Mississippi River, Missouri River, Arkansas River, rivers, rivers, rivers that are in the east. And then next week we'll add on to that and do rivers west. So also, it's kind of fun if you want to, if you have like a little fish, or you could use goldfish if you don't have something. I thought about that. You can put them on, so say I'm gonna put him on, he's gonna be swimming in this river right now. Which river is he swimming in? You could kind of quiz them like, ooh, it's the green one. What is the green one? Ooh, that's the Missouri River. Ooh, now he's swimming in the orange one. What's that one called? Ooh, the Mississippi River. And look how these rivers flow into the Mississippi River. That's cool. So you could kind of quiz them that way. So that is geography this week. For math, we are talking about area of a square. So I'm going to use painter's tape and make a big square on the floor of my classroom. And then we are going to learn the same song that we started last week when we did area of a rectangle. I'll link below where I found it. There's a video on YouTube. I did not create it, but I like it. It's really catchy and it includes all the area formulas and circumference. So it goes like this. Geometry, geometry. Let's learn some geometry. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of the side squared s squared. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. Geometry, geometry. Let's learn some geometry. So first, I'm gonna just focus on the area of the square formula with them, and then we'll sing the whole song together as we kind of do this next part. So I'm going to give them each a silly action card. So I'll link below where I found these, but we've got jumping jacks or cross kicks or jog in place or soldier march. So I'm gonna give them each one of these cards, and then we're gonna do our silly action as we go around the square. So if it's like soldier march, we'll march around the square as we sing the whole song. So I want them to get really good at singing the whole entire song every week, and then they'll get it down since we're doing it for several weeks. And I also have this printable from Kimberly, who I've referenced before in my videos. I love her stuff. I'll link below where I found these two, but she has one for math, science, history, and she has hymns that we do each week too that I love. So that is math. For Latin this week, we are doing John 1 through 7. Specifically this week, we're doing John 1:4. So John 1:4 is, in ipso vita erat, in him was life. At vita erat lux hominum, and the life was the light of men. So I like to color code it so they can see what Latin goes with what English. So in would be red and in would be red. Ipso and him would both be orange. Vita and life would both be green. Erat and was would both be purple. And the next part, vita and life again would both be green. Erat and was would both be purple. Hominum and men would be pink, and lux and light would be blue. So it kind of shows what Latin goes with what English. So I am doing the song with some hand motions for my kids. We're gonna perform this at the end of the year ceremony with our whole big CC group. So I'm working hard with them to get the words and the motions down. I'm following a video from YouTube of a woman who does the motions and the words to the tune, I believe it's Father Abraham. Somebody told me that in the comments, and that makes sense. So I will link her below. I would highly recommend watching her. I'm still learning this and definitely not polished, so just bear with me. I'll try to do it for you, but I would definitely recommend watching her. So first, just this week is, in ipso vita erat, in him was life. At vita erat lux hominum, and the life was the light of men. So now the whole thing from the beginning, week 12, goes like this. In principio erat verbum, in the beginning was the word. At verbum erat apud Deum, and the word was with God. Et Deus erat verbum, and the word was God. Hoc erat in principio apud Deum, this was with God in the beginning. Omnia per ipsum facta sunt, all things were made through him. Et sine ipso factum est nihil, and without him nothing was made. Quod factum est, that was made. In ipso vita erat, in him was life. Et vita erat lux hominum, and his life was the light of men. So that is Latin this week. For history this week, we are talking about the 19th Amendment. And I am going to give my kids each one of these action cards. They're a little bit different. I got these from Driven by Grace, so I'll link below where I got them. I think she has them for review, but I liked them for this part too. So we have skeleton walk, or we have walk in slow motion, dance like a robot. So it just gets them up and moving, and it's a little bit different than the action cards I gave them before. So I'm gonna give each kid one, and then we're going to sing the song together and listen to the song. Since it's a classical conversation song, we can listen to it in class. And we're going to do our actions around the table as we listen to it. I think this works well first, and then I'm going to do some silly words after this. So it kind of goes like this. I'll try to sing it to the tune. So it goes, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susie B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. So we'll do that one time, and then we'll have another kid's action card, and I'll do that action as we go around the table and listen to the song again. So once we've done that for each kid's action card, and again, I'll link where I found those below, but from Driven by Grace, I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to read it, or you could kind of sing along to that tune. But I'm going to put some silly words in there, and if you hear a silly word, raise your hand and tell me what it is. So I'm going to start with Elizabeth Caveman Stan. Be like, what? No, not. Oh, what should it be? Okay, Elizabeth Katie Stanton. Oh, okay. So let's try again. Elizabeth Katie Stanton and soon to be a Tony. What? Not soon to be a Tony. Susan B. Anthony. Okay. Elizabeth Katie Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suitcase movement. Suitcase? No, it should be, suffrage. So you see, I read it the correct way until the next silly word, so they're going to hear it the correct way a lot. So then instead of, so I have Elizabeth Katie Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the Uranus Saturn. So I said that instead of United States, Uranus Saturn. Instead of instead of amendment, I said man, so 19th man. And then instead of women, I said walruses. And then instead of vote, I said burp. So I'm going to do that, have them identify the silly word, and then that is history this week. Also, sorry, I have this from Kimberly too, this printable. I'll probably put on my board. Love her stuff. So that's history. For science this week, we're doing the second 4 elements in the periodic table. And so I'm going to hand out a laminated periodic table. This is from Kimberly, but there's also one in the in CC Connected. I believe it's week 18 in the Sandbox e-zine or the Sandbox magazine and CC Connected, or you just print out a periodic table. So I'm going to give one of these to each kid, and I made these elements of the ones we're doing this week. So nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, and last one, boron. So I'm going to hand these, maybe give one to each kid and let them share one. And I'm going to give them a dry erase marker and have them find the element on the periodic table and circle it. And then we'll talk about each one. So I'll share with them that boron is the key element in cell walls of plants. And we consume about 2 milligrams of boron a day through food. It's found in medicines, tiles, and fireworks to create a green color. And carbon is perhaps the most important element for life. It makes up about 20% of your body by weight, and we use its fossil fuel form often as we burn coal, oil, and gasoline. Some examples of pure carbon are diamonds, charcoal, and graphite. Nitrogen is usually a gas and makes up about 78% of the atmosphere. And oxygen is found in the air we breathe. It makes up about 21% of the atmosphere and about 65% of your body by weight. So I got that information from the science card from the Classical Conversations bookstore. And we are going to continue our song that we started last week to the tune of I Am a Christian. So I am a C, I am a CH. So I will start with last week's and continue with this week's, just because I think it will help to start at the beginning of the song. But you can just do a week at a time too. Okay, so it goes like this. The first 4 elements in the periodic table by number, element, symbol, and mass. 1 hydrogen, H, 1, 2 helium, He, 4, 3 lithium, Li, 7, 4 beryllium, Be, 9, the second 4 elements we learn. 5 boron, B11, 6 carbon, C12, 7 nitrogen, and 14, 8 oxygen, O16. These are the next 4 elements we learn. So that is the first 2 verses to that song, and then we'll continue it next week. If you want to listen to the whole song, I'll link below where I found that song too. So that I believe is all the memory work. For review, I'm just going to have the kids kind of color the coloring sheets again that I give them. So I have a history one and a science one that I get from Etsy. I'll link below where I find them. Here's science, the elements, and history. So I like to just give them some time to color because I have really young kids and they're just so tired by the end. Or another thing you could do is bring in Play-Doh and just kind of let them play with some Play-Doh and listen to some of the review songs. I put them all on iTunes, all the songs we do, and group them by week so I can kind of pick a week and just play through the songs that we've done. So I like to keep it chill for review. For presentations this week, I am going to have the kids choose a book and summarize it for us. So tell us what the story is about, retell the story of the book. So I love seeing the books that they choose and just what different books they're into. And I think it's a good skill to learn how to kind of summarize the story of a book. So that's what we're gonna do for presentations. I hope this is helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions and have a great week. Thanks, bye.